through my testimonies and through my walks that I've walked and still will one day walk, and that I'm experiencing, that people can know that God can still call you and use you just because you're living in a world where you're living of it, don't mean that one day you can be apart from it. Because if I could move away from drinking, I was full of lust, and I do get attacked with lustful things, trust me, but it's an ongoing battle. But it's not where it was before, whereas though it was hard for me to deny my flesh, and I was dealing with a bunch of guys. My trauma was that spiral out for me to spiral out control. I indulged in messing around, from homosexuality, messing with guys that would take advantage of me. They would sexually take advantage of me, and I could feel violated. I could feel ashamed. I could feel and know that they did was wrong, especially if they were trying to get me to be intoxicated. But I didn't report any of it because it was due to my own trauma. I didn't respect myself, so I looked at it like, why would anybody care? Because that's the mindset I had to grow up in when I was young. My mother, not only did she belittle me along with my siblings, and some of them didn't, if they didn't say nothing, they stood around while I was being tore down. My mother blamed me when I first told her that I was raped from 11 through 15. And I like to make this disclaimer, I am still a virgin. But when people think of rape, they think, okay, that means that you're not. No, I am. They tried to take it, but they were penetrating me, if that makes sense. Not really trying to go into extremely grotesque details for my own sanity, but also for others. So, but a lot of that came from trauma, from me being taken advantage of. I had a lack of a father figure and a mother figure at home. My mother was not only verbally abusive to us and tore us down, but she was mentally and emotionally and also physically, and she treated us and said to us as if we didn't deserve anything. She would always have a problem. She would scream in our faces. So can you imagine as a little girl how you would develop as a woman one day, as a young woman? How are you going to turn as a young woman to one day being a woman? Because I'm still a young woman. I still don't know a lot. And you're the one woman that was in the home did not teach you nothing. She didn't teach you basic things that you should have learned. She didn't show you how you should be treated and how you should treat others, how you should treat a man and how a man should treat you. Due to the fact that she didn't obviously know herself, and it's no disrespect, but she didn't, obviously. Because when you know better, you do better. Some people know better and choose not to do better, honestly. Being taken advantage of sexually led me down that road where the devil has been attacking my life since I was a child with homosexuality. I was preyed on by not only the females in the household where they would sexualize me, about my chest, about my body shape, everything, and say, oh, when she grow up, she gonna look like this, or her breasts are getting bigger, and say weird things in front of the men in the household. Those were also the same males that took advantage of me. I had 2 older brothers that took advantage of me. One of them, I was like 6 or 7 years old. I was sleeping in my mother's bed because it was a struggle for me to sleep. So the doctor wanted me to sleep in the bed with her. She stepped out of the room in the midst of me sleeping, and she was upstairs in the other brother's room, who later on, years later, raped me for years. I woke up, the room was dark, the TV was on. I remember the PJs I was wearing, and I felt something behind me. like something, a dark shadow behind me. That's all I could see because it was dark in there. It was by the bedside behind me. And I turned around and I was scared because I was like, what the heck is that? And I didn't know it was a person until they spoke. And when they spoke, I recognized the voice. And it was my brother. He had his finger in my anus area. He was saying he was trying to, I think he said, put lotion on me or oil on me. I think he said lotion or Vaseline, something. And I didn't realize what he was doing. I was just frightened by the fact, why was he behind me and near the bedside of me, crouched down on the floor, on his knees. And then I didn't realize his hands was in my pants. So when I started to slide and get away from him, to hurry up and get off the bed and leave out the room and rush out the room. So when I realized his finger was in my butt and stuff like that. So rushed into the bathroom, and I remember standing in the mirror and I was frightened. I was scared, and I was breathing really hard because I just woke up. It scared me out of my sleep. So I was not fully there. It just caught me off guard. My mind couldn't piece together why it was happening, what was happening, because I never would have expected, because he liked to separate me from all my siblings, bully me, pick at me. And I could just breathe and he would find a way to belittle me. And there's a reason why, because he was preying on me that whole time. Both of them were. Later on that night, I was laying down, slept on the floor with my sisters, where I was supposed to be originally sleeping, but I slept in my mother's bed. Fast forward, I woke up again, I had closed the door, and I put the blanket on my head because I thought that as a child, like 6 years old, 7, I thought that was going to protect me, that would shield me away from, he would, like, in my mind, he would not see me. Woke up, he was right behind me again. And he was doing the exact same thing. But this time around, my mother walked into the room because she was looking for me because I was no longer in the bed. See where I was at. And she caught him right on the floor with me. And I remember I said, I was so scared, but in my mind, for some reason, I just felt like my mother would not believe me. So I went and said, which is the truth, that he did something to me, but I exaggerated and said he also did it to my other sisters too. Because I felt like, okay, if I get my sisters to be on my side and involve them in it, there's a higher chance she's going to believe me, because that's 3 against 1 instead of a 6-year-old against a whole 18-year-old. He was like 18 or something. But the truth was, he just at that moment did it to me. I don't know about them, but he did it specifically to me. What I'm saying is, my mother didn't do nothing, but she hit his hands with wires, these cord wires that go to a TV. And she told me not to tell my father, not to say anything. Didn't understand why. She said because he can go to jail, my father, because of what he would do to him. So I'm like, and I think she asked me if I wanted him to go to jail or something like that. I don't remember that part, but 11 through 14 years old, I dealt with, again, sexual trauma. I was raped. And all throughout that time period, I started to change the way I dressed. I went from wearing skirts and dresses and wearing very girly things to the point I started hiding my body because I felt uncomfortable. I was continuously taken advantage of by that male older brother. When it first happened, I was in the room and he allowed me to get snacks out of his room, which is something he never did. He was always so mean to us. He didn't want us in his room. And all of a sudden, late at night, he was just so nice. Wanted to give me some cookies out of his room. Some Oreo, vanilla, lemon cookies. He told me I gotta eat it in the room because if mom sees me, I'm gonna get in trouble. Because I was not supposed to be up that late, especially trying to sneak and get snacks. I was looking at the TV, I was facing the TV while I was eating my cookies, and I felt something, and I feel like that's the really first encounter, along with many. I had near-death experiences and everything, where I've encountered where God spoke to me. I didn't know what that was, but it was something that said, do not turn around. And as a child, I was just 11, 6th grade. I remember it was so dark in the room. The only glimpse of the light was the TV blinking, you know, because the show was on. And I turned around slowly, and all I see is the light flicker onto him. But all I can see is like his shorts down to his ankles and his underwear. And I look up and I see his actual privates. And I remember I was so scared. And I remember I just hurried up and left out the room. Darted out the room and hurried got out. But I remember one night, he asked me if I knew what a special hug was. I said no. And he said he asked me to give him a hug. And I went and gave him a quick side hug. I was like frozen in state, like I was scared. And I felt uncomfortable. And he was like, no, a special hug. And he's like, I gave you a hug. And I'm saying I gave him a hug. He's like, no, a special hug. You know, it's different or something like that. And he says it's like this. And he wraps his arms around me and he pushes his privates on my butt. I'm 11. This dude is like 25. And he rubs his privates on my butt. He did that, along with so many other things. It was all the way till I was 14. So with all those traumas, I've dealt with countless amounts of interactions with sexual assault. I led a risky life and behavior because of the fact that what I grew up on. I grew up on violence. The household I grew up was violent. It was aggressive. My mother always found a resort to scream, yell, and curse. My father was aggressive, like to scream, yell, and curse. I seen him get into altercations on the street. I experienced on my 10th, I was 10 years old, 5th grade graduation. We were supposed to go to the land of make-believe. And we were too late and on the way back because we were supposed to celebrate me graduating. My mother always found a resort to scream, yell, and curse. My father was aggressive, like to scream, yell, and curse. I seen him get into altercations on the street. I experienced on my 10th, I was 10 years old, 5th grade graduation. We were supposed to go to the land of make-believe. And we were too late and on the way back because we were supposed to celebrate me graduating. He was about to drive to his apartment because we had our swimsuits and everything. We were ready. And he just seen his ex-girlfriend's, which is his ex-child's mother, car outside. And I guess she was inside. And she was supposed to be at work, I guess. He got mad. He came out the car. He parked it. He started yelling at her, cursing her out. And next man I know, he punches the glass. He starts bleeding. He starts rushing to the car, the back of the trunk to grab a shirt. Somebody called the police on him. He did all this while his children were in the car. No care in the world because he was worried about his temper, his ego, his pride. We were 10, 11. My sister could have been like 16, 17. My niece was in the car. She was like 5. Did all that while we were in the car. Could have got us taken away. I'm sorry, sometimes I get in depth in detail, but things from my childhood led to where I was at that point. I had to encounter God, and this is more than ever because, like I said, I was hit with homosexuality and all those things. I was one of those people that held the flag. I was one of those people that supported heavy, even before I even identified along with them. I was attacked with lust. I started going into masturbating and watching a bunch of pornography, watching homosexual videos and this and that, straight, whatever, grotesque things. And I was just falling into a deeper pit. And I used to question God. I'll be like, God, I never was interested in this, but there's something trying to lead me in that direction and I don't like it, but I can't get out of it. And it just led me to a deeper hole. People don't realize that all those things that you fall into, a sin, leads to a deeper sin, and another, and a deeper, and a deep. It just keeps getting deeper if you don't start digging yourself out now, it will only get worse and it'll be harder to get out of because you've done it for so many years. I felt like it was a big flex. I felt like it was cute being a thought. That's what I called myself. I used to talk to a bunch of dudes because it was a bunch of grown men giving me attention. Me being 18 and I'm having a bunch of 25, 28-year-olds, dude from the army, trying to fly me out and have intercourse with me. I thought it was funny to scam people. I thought it was funny to trick people. I thought it was cute, you know. I was very promiscuous in doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Then when I started gaining weight because I was depressed and suicidal, due to the atmosphere in the home I grew up in, it led me to overeating and being extremely overweight. By God helping me lose weight, cut down, work out. I dealt with a lot of dudes. I was chasing after love, something I didn't have in the home, something I didn't know how it felt. See, I was able to commit and be loyal to somebody. But if you weren't committing and being loyal to me, okay, I'll play the game too. Or if you do me dirty, I gotta get back and hurt you too. Because I lived off of respect and being petty. I was drinking, I was getting into it. Going out and hanging with all these dudes. I'm telling you, I had so many snap stories of going out with a bunch of guys left and right. They would take me out, feed me, because they was attracted to me. A whole bunch of people. I had 30-olds, 40-olds in my DM. How is it that I'm 18 with all that in my DMs? I thought it was cute. I sent more explicit photos and videos of myself selling it for money and profit. More than probably my age. Showing more of my pictures than my actual age. Meanwhile, still being a virgin. It's just like I was down that path of so much lustful stuff. I was on dating apps. I was sending pictures. I was trying to link up and meet up with people. It was just so much stuff I was doing. And I was getting attacked more heavier and heavier, not only with the homosexuality, all that stuff. But when I tell you God freed me from that, lust and fornicating, all that stuff that I was doing, drinking, I was getting high off weed. When I tell you, I wasn't a smoker, but I did. You feel me? I just did.
Yeah, it's my fucking birthday. Happy birthday!
If I had to go on and on about what I did through my life, my testimony, man, that go on for ages. I was aggressive. I was mentally out, not in the right place. I was depressed, suicidal, homicide was on my mind. I thought about killing. I tried to kill my family men. Thought about doing it many times. The devil was in my ear, trying to make me do crimes and hurt myself because he wanted to take me away from the path that God would lead me on one day. He didn't want me to see my future and my potential, so he tried to hide it with the people that was in my home to tear me down. He wanted me so distracted by the pain, I didn't see the beauty in life. I walked around so negative and hateful and hurt and mad that I bled out on anybody, those that hurt me and those that didn't. It took my grandma to die for me to cherish life. It hurt so bad because I realized she really did care for me. I didn't trust her, so I hurt her. I acted like I didn't know she was calling me or speaking to me, ignoring her. I would get attitudes with her because I was mad at the fact she kept trying to spend time with me. I was mad that she was in my face. I was mad she kept trying to get to know me. I was mad because I felt like this lady keeps trying so hard to trick me and get to know me, and it's just a trick because she want to find out personal information about me. She gonna run around and tell my mother. She gonna stalk me on my Facebook and all my social medias like my mother and siblings, bully me online. My mother would bully me at home and stalk me on social media, and if she found out I blocked her, she would go through my cousins, family members, sisters, everybody would stalk me. You feel me? I was gang stalked by my own siblings and family. So for me, I dealt with, it took my grandma leaving this earth for it really hit me. I held on to that for years. I hated myself because I'm like, yo, when she was dying, I couldn't even say to her, I'm sorry. It was hard for me to utter the words because I was just in shock and hurt that I'm witnessing her dying in front of me. I hated myself for years. I wanted her to see me graduate high school. Being 18, about to be 18 years old, she couldn't even see that. Just finally being a legal adult. My mother purposely did not even tell me, and I was in a household where she told everybody in the household that my grandma was sick. I had to find out from my sisters, older sisters that weren't living in the household with me, that were living in their own place. My mother hated me that much. It's a spirit. She didn't tell me when my older sister gave birth. But she could knock on my door and ask me for favors and this and that. But then after I'm done giving her those favors, she tore me down, talked about me like a dog, called me all hateful names, stood around while people tore me down, siblings, ganged up on me when I was just me fighting alone, gaslit me to make me feel like I was crazy, told me she was gonna put me in a shelter. She's asking me if I had found the job, because if when they move into their new house, she don't want me having to be in a shelter, a homeless shelter. Why would I be in a homeless shelter if I got a mother? If y'all moving into a new home, paying bills along with everybody else, giving her $2K, almost $2K for my first job, instead of buying me a new phone when I was walking around with no phone, but her phone, so I didn't get lost. She told me my money meant nothing to her. I was violent due to the atmosphere I grew up around. My father was violent, my mother was too. I cursed a lot. I was angry. I was mean. I treated men like crap. I messed around. I did do dirty. At a certain point, I stopped caring about being loyal and getting in a relationship because I felt like, who would want me? I've been taken advantage of many times in my life. I got childhood trauma, didn't grow up with a mother, father figure. I thought in my mind, who would want that as a wife? Who would want that? I had a dream as a child I would one day give myself away, virginity-wise, once I was married. I always imagined as a child I would one day be married. Like probably middle school. I was holding myself for the man I was right. That was just always in my spirit. And I didn't know why. All these people my age losing their virginities at 11 years old, having sex. Crazy. And I just didn't. I was tempted. The devil would tempt me into trying to go do that, but I didn't. And I stood firm. I'm an adult, I'm a young woman now, and I'm still that. It took me to encounter God. I started after her death, I started to fall into, not only was I extremely depressed, but I started being more alone. I started encountering God in the sense of, I started talking to God more. I didn't even know I was praying before I knew I was praying. As time went on, I started encountering demonic attacks. I was heavy into witchcraft, tarot reading. I would curse out dudes. I would disrespect them. I would degrade them. Call them out their name, call them the B word. Put my hands on them. I would drink at times. I would lust after older men because older men preyed on me. I would try to seduce and lure men. I was one of those. I literally would try my hardest to get them to going against their moral respect, especially if they weren't trying to do nothing with me, to do something. I was meeting up with dudes. I was low-key expecting it to go into a relationship, but then when I didn't see it going there, I still continued messing around with them, where it was sexual, doing oral sex with them, all different types of things. I was falling deeper and deeper down a hole. I was heavy and obsessed in witchcraft, obsessing over this dude that I thought I fell in love with. He was not my husband. We dealt with that dude for like 4 months. He ran me around. He made me chase him. He played mind games. He gave off narcissistic type of things. He would fake cry to convince me to stay around him. He abused me mentally and emotionally. And he also took advantage of me sexually. When I let it be known I did not want to have sex. Purposely put his, privates out and pushed it in a little bit. He would purposely bring alcohol. And since I get drunk off a little bit, purposely bring it to get me intoxicated, because when they say alcohol has spirits, it really do. He did it on purpose so I can start acting in ways that I shouldn't be acting. Be more looser, get more loose off the goose, you feel me? And that's what I did. Started doing sexual things with him. He was so lustful, he wanted sex that much. He would drag me around like I'm his little girlfriend, show me off around people, show me off to his family without claiming me. He would claim me behind closed doors and want me to stop talking to everybody, cut people off. I cut people off for him. First dude in my life I ever did that for. And I was serious about keeping all them dudes around me. Keeping all my side dudes. I was serious about that. But with him, I started falling head over heels for him, and I was even attracted to him. I thought he was all right looking, but I was not interested. He was not my type. And all of a sudden, I found myself lusting and in love with him. I was obsessed with him. It was a spirit on me. He put something on me. It was so bad that if I didn't have him, I was going to not only kill myself, but I was going to kill him. I was plotting on it. I was crying so hard to God because he kept pressing on my spirit. I need to cut him off and get away from him. You need to get away from him. Get away from him. Telling me this, and I said, God, please, I could change. I remember I had medication and pills that I had gotten from a pharmacy, and I was thinking about taking that and overdosing on it. I thought about before doing that, I was going to go ahead, meet up with him in his car, acting like I want to talk, and I was going to stab him up. Some real stuff. And this is just a light PG version of everything I've done. This is nothing. Feel me? Tried stabbing up family member before. I was not there. The devil thought he had me, but God said she's mine. In Jesus' name. My siblings hated me, was jealous, and had envy towards me. And I never, as a child, even an adult, understood why you plotting against me. Standing outside my door, listening in on my conversations, hearing me, and weird things about it, even when I was doing masturbation, standing outside my door. What are you trying to listen in on? Monitoring spirits, trying to watch me at every angle. When I started getting in my word, I'm telling you, when I cut that dude off, a spirit leaped out of me. I dealt with possession, where when I started to turn away to God, I remember I started twitching. I started laughing profusely. I started blurting out random things out of my mouth. I didn't even know what it was about. I couldn't control myself. I didn't know what it was, but I remember I prayed to God for whatever it is that it was on me. I was laughing profusely. I couldn't control myself. I was like jumping and jolting, saying crazy things out of my mouth. And I remember, I think I prayed, and all of a sudden it stopped. It jumped out of me. I remember seeing a shadow jump on the wall and rush by or something like that. I remember hearing, and before that even happened, I started growling out of my chest. My mouth was open and it was growling like a dog. That happened to me before, where I was asleep. And I woke up scared out of my sleep because I heard a hard growling, and it was the rumbling coming out of my chest. I was sounding and growling like a dog because it was a spirit in me. That night, I remember having to cut him off. I gave him a stuffed animal. I tried to convince myself and tell myself that's my husband. And I stayed around that long. I felt like it was because the fact that I was thinking about a future with him, and it came out of nowhere. Wanting kids, wanting a marriage, wanting all those things. And it was not that me and him weren't supposed to be together. When he wasn't giving me what I want, he wanted to play games. I went around, messed around with a few other dudes. Oral sex and all that. That's what I did in the past. Then I go back to him, and this is how toxic it was. I went back to him after I was done. told him about it, apologized to him. But then I think I did something else again. See, he was playing around too. So it's like, I looked at it like, if you can't be loyal to me, I might as well do what I gotta do. And I didn't have to do that. It hurt so bad. I remember it was a pain that I've never felt in my entire life. I can't explain it. It would hurt my soul. It hurt so bad in my heart, in my soul, in my spirit. I was crying so hard to God, and all I heard was God say for me to get down on my knees and pray, or get down and pray. I didn't want to pray because all I wanted to do was lay down and cry to God about how much that hurt, how he did me, used me, took advantage. I catered to him in regards to his feelings, was there for him, went out of my own comfort zone to do things just to make him comfortable. And he broke me down inside out, mentally and emotionally and sexually, forcing me to do things I didn't want to do. At that point, I was starting to find myself again. I started to get into working out, losing weight. I was starting to find God a bit. And then he was the devil that came into my path, tried to throw me off track, get me into lust again. I actually started finding God. And that's why I started spiraling out of control, started getting to drinking a little bit, weed again, doing sexual things, lustful things, letting somebody take advantage of my body. I got down on my knees and I prayed, and I cried out to God. I felt like a spirit jumped off of me. And I think I seen a spirit jump onto the wall. I cried, and I'm like, I'm just telling God how much this hurt. But fast forward from that, it was that heartbreak that caused me to really be serious about God. But I didn't. I was lukewarm. I started to obsess and fall back into tarot. The devil got into my ear, and I started being into tarot readings, watching it heavily. And it became so obsessive that I would do it before I went to bed, after I gotten up in the morning, before I ate, while I ate, before I ate lunch, while I ate lunch, before I took a shower, after I took a shower, before I ate dinner, after I ate dinner. I would stay up for hours, not getting sleep at times, watching tarot, because I was obsessed. I wanted to know if he was for me and would he come back, because I thought I loved him. And it was just a spell on me. And I remember saying to God, why does it feel like I got a spell on me? I can't get away from him. I don't even want him. I'm not attracted to him like that, but I'm obsessed with him. To the point I would kill him and kill for him and kill myself for him. He disrespected me countless amounts of times, and usually I cut off people in a snap of a finger, but for him, I stuck around. I had argued with him many times, told him about how I was about to cut him off, and I didn't. And I stayed. But every other person got the boot real quick, blocked real quick. When I started straying away from tarot, I burnt my tarot card, set it on fire. I lit it up. When I started finding God, I started getting in my word again. I'll read it here and there, but also jug around tarot reading. When I started getting my word again and started reading, I started trying to stray away from, last time I did tarot reading was October 2022. This year will make it 2 years of not doing tarot. And I'm proud of myself. I'm thankful. Because tarot had me obsessed, and he was messing with the demons. I opened a door for spirits to come through. Didn't even realize. Spirits were monitoring and watching me the whole time, still are. When I started cutting that off, all of a sudden I started dealing with spiritual attacks. I started hearing knocks at my window. Didn't know what that was. Where my room was, the window was, nobody could knock on that window because no one can get up. That's the side of the roof. There was not construction being done. I thought construction was being done. That's why I was hearing the knocking. Looking out the window, nobody's there. Construction can't be done there because there's no way they can do that. Underneath that, my window would be the balcony, patio to the backyard. Started hearing knocking on the door. I thought it was my siblings. I answered and I said, yes, yes, yes. And I'd be like, come in. Didn't even know I invited something in my room. And that's where that opened that gate. It was just waiting at that door. It was praying. It was waiting. And from that point on, I dealt with demonic attacks, spiritual attacks, warfare. I was encountering the devil himself. I heard chains that you would hear in the pits of hell dragging on my floor. I was so terrified. I had scratches on my body. I started getting drained. I started witnessing it. The spirit in its face was white, big, dark eyes. Its face would transform at times. It would look like it had hair. It was short. The next minute it may be taller. Probably was multiple spirits. Wouldn't be surprised. I seen one that looked like it had antlers. The outline of it. One crawling on the floor. Its face was white. The other one face looked like the nun. The thing off the movie Nun. It was so much spirits attacking me, all at once. I dealt with the devil attacking me. I heard the mourning. It sounded like the weeping in the walls. I was hearing the demons attack me. They would mess with my mind. They would mimic me, laugh at me. They would turn the lights off downstairs when I was downstairs to scare me. Start messing with the lights downstairs. It would purposely try to get me alone. It would follow me in the shower, the bathroom, to the point I was so terrified. I didn't know what was going on. It would stomp on the floor, run around on the floor, kick my bed if it see me falling asleep. I was afraid of sleeping in the dark. It would terrorize me. I stopped eating and drinking for like 3 days. And I was telling God, I just want to die. I was laying in my bed and I said I didn't want to get up. I was so weak and it was taking my energy. It was taking my strength that I was starting to see its face because it was taking from me. It was killing me. I was literally dying. Especially since I was dehydrated. And I remember hearing what sounded like my God saying, get up. He said, get up. And then I heard what sounded like my grandma saying, me, I need you to get up. And that's when I finally gained that strength to get up. I wasn't at that point sure if I was hearing God's voice because I was hearing so many different voices attacking me. I would pray and they would laugh at me, try to mock God, quote his scripture. I went downstairs and I was trying my hardest to hold on the rail and go downstairs. And that's when I went and got me some water. That's the first thing I drank. And then I didn't want food, but I forced myself to eat an orange. God forced me. God helped me. And from that point on, it started getting better and better as I started reading scripture. My mother was supposed to help me, and then the devil kept attacking her. She was supposed to pray and read scripture with me, as the family pastor told her to do, and she, next minute, will argue in the midst of prayer. Say she wasn't going to pray. Never mind, we're not going to do it. She would kick me out of her room because I was so terrified of sleeping by myself. I tried to sleep in the room with her just so her fiance could sleep in the room. So I could sleep in the room by myself. I seen a spirit on her face. The devil would try to make me tired when we would start praying. All of a sudden we get tired. Hair stand up on my arm. I was getting attacked left and right. End up actually taking a picture of the spirit that was attacking me. My testimony, how I found God, was the experience of what I encountered. And then being homeless brought me stronger and closer to him. On this walk with God, it wasn't easy, and it still isn't. I get attacked still. I was just attacked last night, and I prayed really, really hard to God to protect me. The devil was attacking me in my sleep 3 times. 3 times I fell asleep, and 3 times he attacked me, terrorizing my sleep with demons. This God took everything away from me because I couldn't spend my money right. I spent it frivolously. I spent it stupidly because my mind was of a child, but it's now maturing into an adult. I'm more responsible with my money and taking care of business. On this walk and being homeless, I dealt with, like I said, dealt with sexual assault. I dealt with being raped. I literally dealt with being raped out while 5th day of being in Atlanta, Georgia. I was willing to kill myself and give up on, not on God, but on myself. I felt like I couldn't do it no more. It's one thing I had to deal with it growing up, but the fact that I'm now being homeless and someone took advantage of me. Still a virgin because he could not take it. But that demon-possessed man took advantage of me, and I was able to tell he was a demon. I have so much testimonies, but I encountered a lot to where I am now. Like, I'm still in my walk with God. I'm still learning and growing. But this ain't easy. It's hard. I pray, I read. I'm not the person I used to be in the past. Lustful, sexual. I dealt with almost getting pimped out, sex trafficking in Atlanta, stalked, harassed, everything. You could think of almost kidnapped. Almost got kidnapped basically in LA when I was in California at one point, when our guy had me travel to LA. But this is my last. This is my last. I know it. God speaks to me. If God can take me from speaking and moving like the way I was, if he could take me from that, because God knew, remember he says he knew us before he formed us in your mother's womb. He knew us before we were formed. He knew who he's going to call and who's going to be chosen. He knew who's going to walk along the alignment of his purpose. First time I got to Atlanta, I was preaching. Y'all, I literally went from video proof. This is all people from my school. When I graduated, that's all they knew me based off the videos and the sexual, lustful things I was doing. I was posting my nudes on social media, selling them, disrespecting myself, flaunting all the dudes that would take me out. If I can go from that to now I'm looking like this, lost weight, then at that, still losing weight, but I'm reading my word. I know more about scripture and I could quote it more compared to when I wasn't in the Bible. I remember at one point I never opened my word, never got down and prayed. Me encountering those demonic attacks and the devil attacking me got me to get down on my knees and pray. I dealt with prophets coming up, some real genuine ones, telling me what God was telling me. One of them called me the Joseph of my family. It's funny because I have like around 11, if I count all of them together, like 11 siblings. I'm the youngest out of all the adults. I'm the baby of the adults, and I was outcasted. I was treated like a crap. They left me out to die. They didn't care that I was homeless. I literally could have died multiple times out on the street. But the only one who has been protecting me and make sure I did not die was God. I was scared to sleep at night in a parking lot garage because there was a bunch of dudes walking around and they were monitoring spirits. You could tell on their face, just walking around for no reason. They don't even know why they're doing it. They're just walking around that area, watching me, listening in on me, standing in the stairwell, listening in on me. Same things my siblings would do and my mother would do to me. My life I'm living right now is like Job. I'm being tested left and right, hit with attacks. The devil trying to prove to God that I don't really love him like he tried to do with Job, that I only care for his hand and what he can give me. Allow you to hit them in their health, I'm going to allow you to take everything away from them where they have nothing and they flat out on the ground. And I'm going to show you how much this is my child. And that exactly happened. My health had been attacked many times. I was left out on the street with nothing but the clothes in my bag and my book bag. God on this walk many times, but this specifically being homeless and being stripped of everything. Friends, people I knew in the past, I could not conversate with none of them. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little slick conversating with people in my past. Still kind of do, because I like to check up on people, see if they're okay. All that's being cut off because at the end of the day, I realized that will hold me back from being where I need to be. And I came this far to stop now, to stop now. I can't stop now. I'm not coming this far with blood, sweat, and tears. All this suffering I endured just to turn around and throw it away for somebody from my past. And left and right, all people from the past want to come back and say something. We're going to elevate in Jesus' name. I'm getting up in here. I don't know how everything's going to play out, but it's going to get better. And that's for anybody. If I could come from that, cursing, drinking, if I could come from that, cursing, drinking, trying to go to parties here and there, being promiscuous, doing weed, messing around. I had over 40-something DMs on Snapchat from multiple dudes. Over 20-something, 30-something DMs on Instagram. And more DMs in my phone. I had over 40-something, and that's not the exact number. It's actually probably more than that. Selling my pictures of myself. If I went from that to this, what makes you think he can't change you? What makes you think he can't change you? That your lost hope. No, your hope that will one day be fulfilled. But right now, you may be moving in this world, but one day you're not going to be of it. Let God change you. You're going to be there at that point. But don't take yourself down feeling like you're useless, you're a waste of space, and God has no meaning for you. He's called you to be much, much more. Just spend time with him. Talk to him and just start off slow. Don't rush into something, because God takes his time with all of us. Don't rush a race when you could just take your time and get there efficiently with the best results because you took your time. You want to come out the best version of yourself, not the halfway best version, not the semi version. You want to come out the best version that God has in store. You are worth a lot of things to God, a prized possession. You are not what those wounds decided to make you to be, and those scars that are on your body. The battle scars do not determine you. It just shows how strong you are, and how long you've been fighting this fight for. His word is of the light and of the truth, and nothing but the truth. And if you believe in God as much as you say you do, you're not going to doubt it. He is in us. He resides in this temple. So cherish it and treat it with respect. So walk with God. Take those steps. Cry those aches and pains and agonies. Anything that has hurt you, cry it out. But continue to walk with him. Do not rush it. If he can change me, he can change you.
How they dad be talking shit, calling my phone, talking about you gonna kill somebody. Like, you real bad shit crazy. Like, that's crazy though. That's why I don't like linking up with motherfuckers, because motherfuckers be bad shit crazy. Like, I don't even fucking know motherfuckers and shit. Talking about calling my phone no caller ID. And I don't even know motherfucker. Like, bad shit crazy.
Shit blocked off?
Oh, I'ma kill you, right? Bugging. Fuck is you talking about? Nigga, ain't nobody scared of death. Everybody's scared of death, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? Bitch, try some shit for real. Suck my dick. You feel me?
How to be happy, something I'm not, but something I can't be, something I'll wait for, something I'm made for, something